We are ready to rock and roll. Still putting the work in. Yeah. Even though, it ain't even cold, man. 40 degrees, 50 degrees, that is not cold. Perfect running weather. You know what I'm saying? You can get more out of your workout when you run when it's cold. You get more out of your workout. Yesterday it rained, you know, so we took the running indoors. Yeah, I can't be running in the cold rain. Not this close to the marathon. I got to be smart about it. It's raining, and I ain't feel like getting wet. But yeah, this type of weather, 40 degrees, 50 degrees, is the best time to run. Best time to run. Only thing about it, you got to make sure you up on your water. But yeah, this the best time to run when it's 40 degrees. Now we on this walk down, and plus this, I don't want my shoes to get all. They put too much gravel on the floor, man. They put too much gravel down, and it makes the bottom of my shoes real, real dirty. That's the real reason why I didn't come out here and run yesterday when it was raining and cold, because they put too much gravel down, and once it gets wet, it stick to your bottom of your shoes. So, but other than that, we out here today, and it's real, real good. Real, real good. But next Monday, we're gonna up all of the workouts. So we preparing ourselves for that right now, because after that we got 30 more days. Today is December the 2nd. So wait, yeah. So right around December the 9th, whatever day Monday falls on, let me look right here on my other phone while we walking on this walk down. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host on this walk down. Let's see how it's gonna work. So, okay, perfect timing. Monday is the 8th. So we're gonna come out Monday. Then we'll have like 30 days before the marathon. So just about on the countdown, guys. We got workout tonight. I might as well say today over with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got about 38 more days before the marathon. So Monday is when I'm gonna crank it all back up. Go back to the 8 miles a day. Go back to the 2 hour or hour and a half walk down. I gotta crank it all the way up for 30 days and really go super, 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 super. Probably not so hard on the weights though. Probably keep the weights the same, but the running has to kick it up. The running has to kick up. So December the 9th, December the 8th, which is Monday, we're gonna crank it all the way back up and go hard for 30 days. Kind of like similar to training for a fight. So the last 30 days, we're gonna go hard. And then I hope y'all join me for the Chevron Marathon, which is January the 10th. Man, these marathons are coming up fast. Can't believe it's been just about a whole year of training, guys. We started this training right after the Super Bowl when we came back from the Super Bowl. So it's been almost a year. So after this marathon is complete, which will be January the 10th, we're going to take a full week off of running. We're not going to do no running for a week. So that'll be kind of like, we're going to stretch and we're going to still hit the weights, but I'm going to take a full week off of running. And then right after that, we're going straight into jiu-jitsu training. Because yes, I am competing for the 4th of July in somebody's jiu-jitsu tournament. So I'm gonna have a full week where I'm gonna do nothing but stretching, in which I've been stretching every day anyway, preparing myself for what's about to happen in February. Because if you don't know, training jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts is a whole other thing than coming out here and running on some track. So I've been getting I've been getting been trying to get my flexibility back, you know. So I'll be prepared for what's about to happen in the middle of January. We want to crank it all the way back up. So after the week of taking a break from this running, hello, LL Cool J. Hey, what's up? What's going on? How y'all doing? How you doing, LL Cool J? I see you, man. You ain't gotta spam the chat. You ain't gotta spam the chat. Appreciate you for joining. If you don't know, when I get on these walk downs, bro, after running 4 miles and I get to talking, you know, I don't really look at the comments that much. That is, appreciate you for joining me. Who said hi? Hello, how y'all doing? I'm not, you know, when I'm walking, it's kind of hard for me to read the comments. So I don't want to slow down because I be trying to get this walk down done in a certain amount of time. But I appreciate y'all for joining me, man. Everybody that's coming in, appreciate y'all for joining me. This is season 4, guys. The first day of season 4, 151 of the walk down. 4-mile run, about 1.25 miles walk for right now. But if you don't know, Monday we cranking it up. Back to the hour and a half, 2-hour walk downs, and back to the 6 to 8 mile run, as we got 30 days left before we have to compete. Well, not even really a competition, but the marathon, Chevron Marathon, is right around the corner. If you've been watching the channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yes, man, what's been going on is it's been a lot of complaining, bro, like blaming other people or blaming other things for situations, and you know, and guys, what we got to realize is we put our own selves in certain situations. You know, it's not, no, you can't blame, you know, I can't blame nobody if I'm not growing in life. I can't blame nobody. You know, it's a lot of people, that's blaming Trump right now, you know, for under their ability to not listen, for one. They they don't want to listen, right? Can't nobody tell them nothing, you know, and they don't want to put the work in, right? So it comes down to, it can't nobody stop you from succeeding in life but you. That's what we got to realize, bro. Can't nobody stop you from succeeding in life but you. The choices that you make in America, the choices you make in life is dictated by what you do, how you was raised, how you go by carrying yourself, how you go by treating other people. As I come up on this mud right here, how you treat other people, you know, and more so how you plan your daily life and how you live your life on a daily basis. That's what you are the ones that, if you're failing in life, it's because of you. It ain't got nothing to do with no president. It ain't got nothing to do with who you vote for. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Let's get that clear straight out the point. You know what I'm saying? Somebody talking about he can't make no money in the Trump economy. Man, first of all, you're too negative of a person, right? You too negative of a person. You always complaining. How do you expect to have anything in life if you complain about everything that happened all throughout the day in your whole entire life? You on the job that you're working on and you complaining about your job. You doing the work, but you complaining. You know what I'm saying? You're complaining. You're talking negative about this. You're talking negative about that. What you expect to happen in your life? How do you expect to get anything out of life if everything about you is negative? Everything about you is negative. There's something wrong with every doggone thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the number one thing. How to get out of that way of stinking thinking is you got to change the way you think. Stop blaming other people for your problems. You know what I'm saying? Stop blaming other people for your problems. You know, the reason why you're going through the things that you're going through is because how you live in your life. Yeah, I'm going in today. It's how you live in your life. You know, I can't stand when somebody try to blame somebody else for their frustrations. I can't stand with a negative person, a person that's so negative about any and everything always blaming somebody else. Those are the type of people you don't want to be around, chat. Those are the type of people you don't want to be around, chat. As we come up on 10 minutes of this walk down, you can only, as an American, as a human being, if you are not successful, if you are not, your life is not going in the direction that you think it should go in, you can only blame yourself. You can't blame your daddy. You can't blame your mama. You can't blame Donald Trump. You can't blame Joe Biden. You can't blame Kamala Harris. You can't blame whoever to fill in the blank. You can't blame nobody for you not wanting to put the work in, for you not wanting to find a skill, right? For you not trying to do the work to find what career you could get in this 2025 season. And the reason why is because you're complaining too much. The reason why is you're complaining too much. That's the reason why you ain't got no friends. That's the reason why you ain't got no girl, because you're too busy complaining. Nobody wants to be around a bitter complainer, bro. I don't care where you from, where you stay, what's going on. Nobody wants to hang around no bitter complainer. And if you ever hang around a bunch of people, if a person is bitter and complaining and it's people around them in this circle, guess what? They're bitter as well. They're bitter and complaining as well, and they don't want nothing as well. They always want to blame other people. The Trump economy is the reason why I can't make no money. Man, what you got a job, but you're complaining about the job you're working on. Sometimes we bring this stuff on us. Sometimes we bring this negative situation and these negative things that we're going through in life on us. How do we do that, Stock Sniper? By what come out your mouth and how you move. If you always complaining, and if you are always complaining, if you are always bitter, if you're always angry, guess what? You're gonna attract the same thing. It's called a law of attraction. You're gonna attract that. Listen to the OG. You're gonna attract that. You're going to attract, and you're gonna become whatever it is you are attracted. And guess what? If you have any kids, guess what? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna follow up under that same guidance. But there's a way out. Long as God wake you up every single day. First of all, you gotta change. You gotta say, well, look, man, you gotta realize that this bitterness, and you gotta realize this hate, and you gotta realize this complaining is what's holding you back. Donald Trump is not the reason why you are being held back. He's not. First question, do you have any investments? No. Are you participating in your Jaws 401k plan? No. Are you hanging around good, successful men? No. Everybody you hang around bitter and complains just like you? Yes. So that lets you know right there. You got to pay attention to your circle. You got to pay attention to who you come in contact with. You got to separate yourself, but first you got to make your mind up. You got to believe. Whatever you believe, that's what you can achieve. If you believe that you broke because of Trump economy, guess what? You're going to be broke. And broke is not a dollar amount. Broke is a mindset. It's a lot of people that got assets. There's a lot of people that own stock. It's a lot of people that own businesses. But guess what? They're still broke. Broke is a mindset. Broke is the way you think. Broke is who you hang around with. Broke is what you do on an everyday basis. If you're always bitter, always complaining, always looking for somebody to blame things on, guess what? You're gonna go through life complaining about the levels that you are not going to. And then next thing you know, you'll be 50, 60 years old and you'll be a bitter old man. Because you fail to level up in life, but you fail to grow as a person. Why? Because you don't want to listen. Can't nobody tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Then you get my age and say that life threw you a bad deal. Life ain't threw you a bad deal. You threw yourself a bad deal. Why is that, Stock Sniper? Because you didn't apply nothing to your life. You always was bitter and complaining, and you always was blaming other people. That's what I don't like, guys, when somebody come, as we come around this corner over here on this walk down, blaming somebody else for their problems, blaming somebody else for their mistakes, because they didn't do what normal people do, which is what, Stock Sniper? Learn a skill, go to work, make some money, spend less than you make some proper investments, participate in the company's 401k plan, pay attention to who you hanging around with, always try to be respectful, always put the work in other words, and take it day by day and pray to God. We can't forget about that. And pray to God and make sure that you are teaching it to your kids and grandkids and to your family members and everybody else. That right there is the steps. It ain't got nothing to do with it ain't got nothing to do with no Trump economy, man. Yes, things happen, and guess what? You adjust. You learn more skills. You add more value to what's going on. In other words, you tighten up on your backstroke. As the old folks used to say, tighten up on your backstroke. That's life. All doing life. You know, you got things that's going on in the economy, bro. All doing life. If you live long enough, you understand what I'm talking about. You know, but long as you stuck in between them tracks, like I always talk about, of course, if you stuck in between them tracks, which I just explained, of course, you ain't gonna think outside of them tracks. Your mindset and the way you think gonna be the same way unless you change the way you think. Unless you make up your mind and draw a line in the sand and say the mistakes and the things that I'm going through right now is because of me. It ain't got nothing to do with no Trump economy. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that. It got everything to do with me and the decisions that I make. It don't matter who the president is. If you willing to put the work in and you willing to educate yourself and you find something you love to do and you try to do it to the best of your ability and you take it day by day and you do the proper steps of earning, spending less, just that right there, just those two steps, earning and spending less. And a main important thing is be able to listen. To be able to listen and stop complaining and have the dedication. See, a lot of us guys, just lack the dedication and the preparation. I call it not being able to think outside of the box. That's what I call it. Not being able to have not having to realize it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. In other words, it takes time. You got to build day by day. You have to build day by day. And you can't have the mind, you can't have a closed mind, man, because a closed mind, and just like a closed mouth don't get fed, if you got a closed mind, you ain't gonna eat. That's just how it goes, guys. It has nothing to do with no president talking about it's a dead economy, because guess what? Why you saying it's a dead economy? It's millions and millions of other people that think differently. And I'm one of them. See, the economy is booming. Because you stuck in between them tracks, you think that it's a dead economy because of the circle of the people and who you hang around with and what you socialize with. That's why. Your zip code and area code has everything to do with what happens in your life. Your zip code, your area code, not physically the zip code and the area code. I'm saying that the people you hang around in the situation that you in. If you stuck in between them tracks, you know, and and you're not in it putting in the proper steps to stay ahead of the game, of course you're gonna think that it's a messed up economy. All I gotta do is ask you 3 questions. Or are you investing? No. Are you participating in your family not your family? Are you participating in your company's 401k plan? No. Are you trying to build your skills to learn another so you can bring in another income? No. I already told you I already told you. And I already told everybody, I say it over and over again on this channel. The quickest way to go from zero, to get it out the mud. I already told you the quickest way. The quickest way, start you a delivery business and partner with some of these companies and put the work in. That's all you got to do. Do you got a side business? No. So you mean to tell me you just working on that same 9 to 5? Yes. That you complaining about every single day? Yes. That's all your energy is in all your energy. See, one thing, guys, what we can't do, we cannot put all our energy into complaining, bro. We can't put all our energy into blaming other people. Because once you do that, you have no energy to do nothing else. You're too tired to do anything else. Do you work on your mind, body, and soul? No. So that's the problem right there. It's the moves. You're not making the right moves. That's all it is to it. And once you realize with your mind, because it's just a mind thing. That's all those things be. Just a mind thing. Once you shift your mind and then say, I'm going to dedicate myself to what I just transferred my mind into, and I'm going to come out every single day and put the work in, and the things that don't matter, I'm not going to pay attention to, because the things that don't matter is the ones that's messing up your life. The things that don't matter is the things that got you thinking the way you thinking. The things that don't matter is what have you worried about something that have you stuck in a rut. Yes, worrying about the things that don't matter all the time, like complaining about a Trump economy. Okay, you got to figure, okay, if you feel like that the Trump economy is the reason why you can't make no money, you got to get that out of your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? The Trump economy is not the reason why you can't make no money. You don't want to make no money because you shooting your own self in the foot, because you always complaining and instead of trying to find a way out, you always complaining. You don't want to sacrifice to put the work in. You want to complain about every single thing. That's your problem. Stop complaining. Realize, be a man and say, hey, the reason why these things are going on is because of me. Okay, let me think and see why. Analyze your life. Analyze the last 25 years. Analyze the last 20 years. Analyze the last 15 years. Analyze the last 10 years. And spend more energy into figuring out where you messed up at, because guess what? If you call yourself a man, if I call myself a man, I can't blame another man for why my shit ain't growing. You can't blame another man why your shit ain't growing. First, you got to check yourself to see what it is. One thing, you complain too doggone much. You got a job and complaining. Okay, if you complaining about that job, find you something you love to do. If I'm a plumber and I'm complaining about putting in new pipe, if I'm complaining about the PVC pipe, knowing that that's my job, I'm complaining about doing the work. I'm complaining about doing the work. I'm complaining about the supervisor. I'm complaining about how much money I'm making. I'm complaining about how much they paying me every single hour. I'm complaining about the job site. I'm complaining about my wife ain't putting no mayonnaise on my sandwich. I'm complaining about they giving us water, they not giving us Gatorade. Like, bro, you trying to figure anything to be, that's negative. That's bitterness. And you got to work on yourself to get out of that bitterness. That's your problem. Donald Trump economy And Donald Trump is not the reason why you struggling. Donald Trump is not the reason, bro. A Donald Trump economy has nothing to do with the reason why you're not seeing the money that you want to see. I'm telling you right now what it is. You too bitter. I don't understand why you so bitter, but you too bitter. That's what's blocking your blessings. And guess what? As long as you're bitter, that negative, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna always be in that rut. Take it from the OG. That's not my law, that's life. If you always bitter, complaining about 90% of what you do every single day, you ain't gonna do nothing but attract more bitterness. The people you hang around are gonna be bitter. Your wife or husband is gonna be bitter. Your kids, unfortunately, are gonna grow up bitter. That's what it is. That's life. That ain't got nothing to do with the stock sniper. I'm just giving it to you raw and uncut. First thing you gotta do is realize that. You gotta play back this live and realize what's going on. And stop blaming other men for your problems. Sit down at the table instead of smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, smoking weed, and going to Jack in the Box every single day. Take a long walk and think about and analyze your life. Do yourself a walk down and go analyze your life and analyze the mistakes you made the past 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And you'll find your answer right there. Where did I mess up at? Well, they told me to go to school and learn a trade. They told me to learn something. I didn't go to school and learn a trade. They told me to go to work and get a job. I didn't do that. They told me once I got a job to earn, spend less, and make some investments. Not only did I not participate in the company 401k plan, I did not buy no stocks on my own and my own brokerage account. I didn't invest in nothing. I didn't invest in, only thing I invested in was being negative. And guess what? Guess what that's called? When you invest negatively, guess what? Guess what that's called? It's called a drop. Like the stock market, when it drops, that's what they call it. That's what happens. That can happen in real life if you're investing negatively. Just like if you're investing in a bad company. If you're invested in a penny stock trying to hold it long term, a company that's unsuccessful, that's probably going to be knocked off the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 or going to be delisted at any given second. It's a bad investment. Same scenario about your life and you as a person. Just like you make an investment into the stock market or whatever, you got to make an investment into yourself. Like what I'm doing right now. I'm making an investment into my health. I'm making an investment into myself. That's how it goes. Sometimes you got to take a long walk. And you got to analyze that. You got to analyze your life. You got to stop blaming other people for your mistakes. How can you blame somebody else because you didn't do what your parents told you to do? Your parents told you to go to school. Your parents told you get an education. Your parents told you find you a trade so you can work in this so-called economy. That's what we're talking about right now. Elevate your mind, elevate your skills. And if you would have done that, guess what would have happened? You would learn how to adapt. Every decade is different. Every 20 years is different. Listen to the OG. It's different. 2025 is different than 1990. 2025 is different than 2010. Hell, 2025 is different than 2020. That's just how it goes, guys. That's just how it goes. But you got to realize, you can't blame nobody. You can't say, the Trump economy, that's the reason why I can't make no money. The Trump economy is the reason why, whatever the case may be. But you're not doing anything but bickering and complaining. That's crazy work. You ain't doing nothing but bickering and complaining. Every day, 90%. 9 times out of 10, you're bickering and complaining. I can't be around nobody like that, guys. Chat, I can't be around nobody. Imagine being around somebody and hanging around somebody and all they do is complain about every little thing. They complain about the trash can right here. Just finding something to complain about. How are you supposed to be successful in life if you're complaining negatively about every single thing? It don't work like that. What's gonna happen is you're going to attract a whole lot of negativity. And then you be wondering why shit be happening to you. Because it's your mind. And a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And then what's so cold about it, can't nobody tell you nothing. Guys, chat, that's the worst thing to do, is to be negative and complaining, bickering, and you think your shit don't stink. Can't nobody tell you nothing. You actually have success talking to you, giving you the blueprint on how to elevate in life, and you so stuck on yourself, and you so thinking negative about the person, it ain't the right person telling you what you need to hear. That's what's keeping you stuck. That's what's keeping you stuck. Telling you the blueprint, what to do, how to do it. Damn near willing to do it for you. But you too bitter. You too negative. And you're so stuck on yourself and can't nobody tell you nothing, you're gonna do the direct opposite on what I tell you to do. I tell you to go left, that's how you get there. And because it's coming from somebody you don't want to hear from, your ass gonna go right. I tell you to go left and you'll find the highway going that way, but if you go right, you're gonna fall off the cliff. Well, this dumb motherfucker, he'll turn right and fall off the cliff to his death. Because can't nobody tell him nothing. That's a cold lick. That's a cold lick. So, if you listening, which I know you are, change the way you think. Go out, take a long, long walk, if it mean anything to you. Because sometimes people that are like that, nothing means nothing, nothing don't mean anything to them. Nothing, they just rather blame somebody else for their mistakes. Go take a long walk and analyze your life. Analyze, go all the way back to when you was 12 years old. And then take it forward. When your mama and daddy was telling you, go to school, and you was skipping school, being thirsty behind girls. See, that's another thing. You'll be thirsty behind these women. Go back to that. You skipping school and doing all those things. And then when it's time to learn something, to apply a craft, you skip the whole play. So then when you got to get a job and go to work, well, you never found something you love to do because you didn't listen. So now you're on a job that you claim you don't like, but you're just so bitter that you're just doing it anyway, where if you don't like the damn job, bro, go find something else to do. Go to school. Find something you love to do. Go to school for it. Master it. And then you'll feel a little bit better. But first you got to change the way you think. It's simple as 1, 2, 3. All you got to do, it's simple, but it's hard at the same time. But once you get your mind right, then you understand what I'm talking about. Go find you something you love to do. Instead of, if you all that time you bickering and complaining, if you use all that energy into figuring out what you actually love to do, and then use the energy to learn, because it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to learn when you love to do it. When you love to do something, it's easier to learn how to do it. That makes sense, right? So you do that, and then you monetize it, meaning that once you graduate or once you complete the course, you go to work. It's 2025. You talking about it's a bad Trump economy. Bro, all you got to do, they got cybersecurity online. that you could go and learn cybersecurity, learn technology. A lot of these courses are a year, 6 months, a year and a half. Go to school, learn how to do some type of online job. Simple instructions, cybersecurity, as an example. And cybersecurity, they make 8 to 10,000 a month. They make 6 figures. Okay, go and learn a skill in this 2025 economy. You saying this, and that, bro? Look at what's going on. You so bitter and think negative about anything. Everything is right in front of your face, and you are too bitter to recognize it. Yeah, I'm going in. It's too busy. You are too bitter to recognize that success is staring you right in front of your face. It's 2025. Success is staring you right in the face with all these opportunities that's coming up. With all these online opportunities that's coming up. I just named one, cybersecurity. Basically working at home. All you gotta do is go to school. 6 months, a year and a half, however long it is. And then you come out on the other end. That's all you gotta do. And it starts with changing of your mind. Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming other people. Because guess what? You don't know what you're talking about. I said it. You absolutely don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about because it ain't like you dumb or illiterate. You just got a closed mind and you too so negative about what's going on. And can't nobody tell you nothing. That's your problem. I need to turn around. That's your problem. So yeah, I've been going in on chat. This right here is a good walk down. One of the best walk downs I have ever done. Yeah. Trump economy is, you can't make no money in the Trump economy. Man, please. You just complaining. You just trying to find an excuse. But excuses is, you know what they say about excuses. Everybody got one. Stop having excuses and go find it. If you hungry, you're going to go find it. That's all it is to it. And in 2025, it's so easy and so simple. Man, in 2025, with all this technology, with all this that's going on, ain't no reason. You holding your own self back. That's all it is. Once you stop holding your own self back and you're able to listen, then you will start to level up and go from level 1 to level 2. Right now, you on level negative 1,000. Why is that, Stock Sniper? Because you're too bitter. 90% of your life is complaining, bro. Why are you on a job and the job is probably a good job. It's just you. You complain about any and everything. Any and everything. If I'm on a job and I am complaining about doing the work, guess what? It's time for me to move on. You're going to fool around, man, and be so negative and bitter and so emotional that your health going to go bad, man. That's a whole nother live and a whole nother conversation because bitter, anger, etc., 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 is a direct effect on bad health. And that's straight up. Bitterness, anger, frustration, arguing, all that, it affects your health, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. Got to think about that. So once you develop and you understand that you got to change, once you develop and you realize you have to, okay, I got to stop blaming other people. Then you got to start from ground zero. Like I'm starting right now. You got to start from ground zero and build yourself back up. But the thing is, once you make up your mind and you change the way you think, it's easier than what you think. Once you make it a repetition, like I make it a repetition to come out here and run, now it's simple. At first, because it's a mind thing. At first, it was difficult. But then once I fit it into my life and my lifestyle, now it's a normal thing. Now I don't feel right if I don't exercise or run. Same thing. When you're trying to rebuild and restructure your life, you start from ground zero. Yes, the bitterness, it's gonna be hard to stop the bitterness, but you gotta take it day by day, one step at a time, like what I'm doing on this run. One step at a time, one day at a time, and then eventually you start seeing a little progress. Then you go find something that you love to do. Because one thing that destroys bitterness is positivity, love, being around the right people, being around people that are positive, communicating with people that are positive, communicating with people that are having positive conversations, being around people that are having productive conversations. Because if you always around people that have negative conversations, are always bitter, guess what? You're gonna 10x that. So when you're trying to come up out of there, you got to change your circle. Sometimes you might have to stop hanging around certain people and find a whole different, and build your own self up. Build your own self up from the ground up. But once you build yourself ground up, you have to value. You have to value the growth. You have to value your growth. What do you mean by that, Stock Sniper? Once you decide that you have grown, and you went from level negative 100, now you positive, you're on level 1 now, you can't hang around those negative 100 people. You can't hang around those people that are in the red, like on the stock market. You can't hang around them. You got to hang around people that are in the green, people that are having productive conversations, people that are having growth conversations. Even though we all know we're not perfect, but your day has to be, every day, your day has to be about growth and development. Every single day. And you have to find something you love to do. You got to start listening to things that motivate you. You got to start doing things, find something that'll motivate you. Be around people that'll motivate you. And that's how it goes. And then you find something you love to do. That helps with your mental health. Find a skill, find something that you love to do. And then go to school for it. You go to school for it, and then you fall in love with the craft, you end up turning out being really, really good at it. Why? Because you're going to keep practicing it because you love it. Then you earn with that skill. But then when you earn, it's more than just making money. Once you do that, you balance yourself. Life is about balance. You balance yourself. In other words, you don't spend all the money, because that'll make you bitter as well. Living paycheck to paycheck will make you bitter. Being in an unsuccessful, being in a bad marriage or whatever, it's a lot of things that'll make you bitter. You got to put it in your mind that you don't want to be bitter no more. You have to find out what's making me so bitter. Why I'm complaining about every damn thing. 90% of my life, I'm complaining and I'm bitter and I'm angry. Lord God, please go on a long walk every single day until you figure it out. But one thing you got to do is stop being bitter on that job. Okay, if you don't like the job, okay. Well, I got to find me an exit strategy. Get off work, go on a long walk to relieve the stress. Once you relieve the stress, then you can think clearly. It's amazing what walking do. Just go out and walk on an outside gym. It's amazing what it can do. Listen to a good, positive audio book. You know what I'm saying? Listen and get motivated and put a plan together and realize you got to stick to your plan. Write it on the wall. If you come to my lives and I'm at the desk, it's a simple plan because I've been doing it for a long time, but my plan is on the wall. It's still on the wall. My daily plans is simplified now, but it's still on the wall. And that daily plan been the same since my grandma and grandpa made me start writing down my goals. It just got more simple as I got older. And it's a reminder. And yes, sometimes we fall off because we human. But guess what? Once it's embedded into your mind, body, and soul, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna get back right. You're gonna get back right. You're gonna get back right. So we gotta think about that, man. Stop being so bitter. Stop complaining. You know what I'm saying? Find something you love to do and master it. That's what we gotta do. Find something you love to do and master it. That's how it goes. As this walk down, it's just about ending. It's just about ending. I know I ain't been live in a while. Ain't nobody really in the chat. Usually the chat be full. I guess today is not the day. But that's all right. Because guess what? The message still gonna get out there. The message is still gonna get out there. But yeah, the Trump economy, man, it has nothing to do with success and unsuccessful in life. Trump ain't got nothing to do with that. Only you got something to do with that. You know, only you. So stop being bitter. Stop complaining. Change the way you think. Find something you love to do. Master it. And then you do what? Earn. Spend less. Make some investments. Participate in the company 401k plan. Then and only then will you come up out of that. And guess what? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We got to realize that it takes time, especially when you're coming from negative. When you're coming from negative 100, and now you're thinking differently, and now you're coming to green. Okay, now it's time to put the work in and understand and put it in your subconscious mind that it takes time. And calm down and understand it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So I think I'm gonna end it right here, guys. It's a long one. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Appreciate y'all for joining me. And always remember, earn, spend less, and make proper investments. I love and I appreciate y'all. This is the one and only Stock Sniper. To the next one, I'm out.